Alright guys, welcome back to class. In the previous section, we were able to calculate our cost of sales and our revenue. We saw how we did that. So if you have not watched that video, please kindly go back and watch that video so that you can be on the same page with us. Right. So in this section, we are going to be calculating our um, selling general and admin expenses. That's our SG&A, right? We're going to be doing that. So the first thing we're going to do, if you can look at the layout uh, of this section, you see that we have the month in a period and we have the inflation, right? So it is now here, like I told you, that I want a situation whereby any change I make in my model, it should only be made in a particular cell and it should reflect every other aspect of the model, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do again here is just to put a link, right? Since I already have this pins here, I'll just put a link. I will just say, okay, I'll link this to this place, right? And also link this to link the inflation index to this place. Remember that when we are dealing with cost, we are considering our inflation index. That we are considering our inflation rate, right? But when we are dealing with price, we are also looking at the pricing index. So that is what we did here. So if you look at it, we have the month in a period and we have the inflation index. So what again will I do here? I'll just format it, Control R and Alt HV, then I'll put my link cell style, right? If you don't know how we arrive at all this formatting, it is advisable that you start from the beginning of this model where we talk about the model style guide. That's the core modeling skills you need to know. So go back and watch that. You will see how we arrive at this formatting we are having here. So when we look at it, we have this already. Now when we look at this place again, we have the salary schedule. We are starting with the personnel, right? We are starting with the personnel. Now we have the manager, we have the salesperson, we have the accountant, we have the other staff, right? Other staff could be security, could be cleaners, and every other person. So let's go ahead and say, okay, here we have the head count. The head count is counting that how many managers do we have, how many sales personnel do we have, and how many accountant or other staff do we have. In this case, we are going to just go back to our input, right? Go to your input and we're going to link the whole of this, right? When you do that, you just I think we have this one. So we'll just go ahead and fill this in, apply our sales style, which is the link showing that it's coming from a particular place, right? Coming from a particular place. Now after we have gotten this, we are going to do the same thing here. Now because I already have this, I have already linked this, I can simply copy this and just paste it here and it will give me exactly what is in the previous section. So why are we having this value like this? Why are we having this value like this? We have 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So why is this value not giving us what it's supposed to give us? Let's look at it. We have the manager, we have the salesperson, we have the accountant, and we have the other staff, right? We have them like this. Then we go back and see why. Who is this person? This is J99. What is in J99? We don't have J99 actually. We only have J100. Then we have, so I will just go back to my calculations and say J100. Right, so we have this value. That means I will need to refill this. Right, so you can see everything is now in place. Fill this in. Now this is our monthly salary. This is how much we are going to be paying our staff monthly. Now when we come to the calculation of the annual salary, what are we going to do? Remember we have the month in a period and we have our inflation index. Of course, it should be in multiple style. This should be in multiple style. So we have this like this. Now what are we going to do? You already know. I know you can guess what we are going to do in this case. So just put your equal to sign, open bracket, the salary, the amount multiplied by what? The number of staff that we have, right? The number of staff that we have multiplied by what? Then multiply by, sorry, the number of staff that we have. This is it. The number of staff. Yes, the number of staff, then multiply it by the number of the months in a period, close the bracket and multiply it by what? By the inflation index. Now the same thing we did earlier on, we can also do on this place, in this place. So you just log this and log it. Also put your sales referencing. You already know what I mean there. When you do that, you just click this and drag it down. You can see it will take reference accordingly. We have this, so you just sum the whole of this out equals to, if you sum everything, because everything is arranged in an in orderly manner. We have, this is what we call in data analysis, we refer to as a fully formed list, right? It's a fully formed list. So once you do that, you just highlight the whole of this and click and drag it for, so we have this. Now if you look at it, we have, this is our annual salary. This is how much we are paying our as salary every year. And because we have taken into consideration the economic condition, or maybe we're going to hire more staffs in the future, you can see this is how we are doing it, right? So now that we are done with that, let's now look into our operational cost. We have determined our salary. Now let's go ahead and tell our operational cost. Now operational cost, again, we are going to just, let's say, we're going to, let me copy any of this. Why am I copying? I just want to maintain the formatting. I can just say copy and I'll paste this here. So if I paste, it's possible that it will take reference, it's possible that it will break, right? I just need the formatting. Just go back here and go to my operations. That's my operation. This is our monthly operational fee. For this, we just enter. Once you do that, you just fill this in. Right, when you do that, we have this as well, right? So what I did is just to link the first one, then I fill the rest, right? Control D to come down, Control R to go right. So that is what I did there. I have gotten my cost, operational cost, monthly operational cost. Now is to determine our yearly operational cost, right? Our yearly operational cost, of course, this is very simple. You already know that. What I can do, I can also copy from here and copy from our salary and I'll paste it here. So when I paste it here, all I need to do right now is I will just change this value, just put this, change this value as well. Okay, it did not take the reference, so no need of copying. We'll just equal to, then this multiply by what? Multiply by 12. So yeah, multiply by 12, then multiply by what? Our inflation index. When you do that, you just add your cell referencing, put your cell referencing to take reference from just that place. So we have this value, then you can just click and drag it down. You can see it's going to be taking reference from there. Now something is missing, because this is okay, this is supposed to go up, right? This is supposed to go up, yeah. So we have this. You must always make sure that your model is taking reference from where it's supposed to take reference, right? We have this as our annual salary pay, and sorry, annual operating cost pay item. So we can just sum this up right now. Alt H. If you want to do Alt H, you can do equal to sum, then select the whole of this, close bracket, then our total operating cost. Our total operating cost is now going to be our total operational cost, which is this, plus our what? Plus our total salary, which is this. So we have this value. Now you can just go ahead and select the whole of this, then refill it into the right. Right, this is it. We have now calculated our what? We have now calculated our operational cost, our annual operational cost. Remember that the model is built annually, based on an annual basis, right? We first of all linked our assumptions. These are our assumptions. Then we now did our calculations. So I can now apply our calculation style here, and also apply our calculation style here, right? Also come to this place, select this as well, that is our cost and revenue, apply our calculation style, right? So anywhere, it means that anywhere you see these values, there are calculations. So we want to differentiate them from every other cell in the document. Now let's summarize our SG&A, because we are not going to take the whole of this in our income statement. So we are just going to take the total of these values in our income statement. So what we're going to do, we are going to summarize our SG&A. First of all, we're going to start with the pre-operational cost. Now, under the pre-operational cost, there was something I did. Normally, it's something I should have done here, but I prefer doing it there like that so that I will have it on the assumption. So the calculation is supposed to be done on the calculation here, but I did it on the assumption sheet. So what I will do right here is go back there and say I'll just link it in. I'll just link it in. Now these are total pre-operational, because that's the cost of items, the cost of the cost you paid even before you, the cost you incurred even before you start running the business. So that's our pre-operational cost. And what constitutes that? What constitutes this value is our business development, our business development cost, and our what, our marketing, insurance, rent, and every other thing. Some people sometimes don't tend to include this rent, but why do I do that? Because these are things you have to pay even before you start operation. Like I said, there are things you need to pay even before you start operation. So that is why I always like to include all this, to know that okay, this is what I need to pay before I start running this establishment, before I start running this business. So that is why we have it here. Now, if you come back here, we have linked the pre-operational cost. Next thing is to link our salary, total salary for the year. We link it in. Remember, we are summarizing our SG&A. Then total operational cost, we also link that. And we have this then ought equals to sum, right? When you do that, you just select this and you fill this to the right. So we have this value, and we have this value as our total SG&A. Now we are able to calculate this. Now the next thing we are going to look at is calculating our operating working capital. Operating working capital, that's what we're going to be calculating, right? Operating working capital. So let's go ahead and say our operating working capital. First of all, we start with our days in a period. So what do we do to get our days in a period? It's actually very simple. Then you're going to say equal to your ending date for the current year minus your ending date for the previous year. You have your days in a period. Very simple. Then you do equal, you just fill that into the right. You can just put it in our link style. I just put our link style to it, apply our link style to it. Now again, what do we have here? What do we have here? Now these are link. Apply our link. These are links. So we apply the link style. So we have these two. When you come down to your revenue, we have to calculate our working capital. We first of all get our revenue, our cost, and our SG&A. So you link your revenue, go back up. Now you go up. What is your revenue? So this is our revenue. Now you also come back to link your cost. So this is our cost, right? This is our cost. We have our cost. Then what is our SG&A? This is it. Our SG&A is this. Then we link it, right? Just fill this in. Then you apply the link style. Apply the link style, right? So this is what we have. Now we are going to start by linking our assets. Asset, that's inventory in days, trade receivable in days, and prepayment in days. We have explained what all those are in our previous section, which is on the input section. So we are just going to go ahead and bring them into our calculation so that we can use them to determine the values, right? So we go ahead. So this is it. Now just go ahead, fill this down, right? Fill this down. You can remove this. So we go ahead. Oh, sorry, it didn't work. Fill this, right? And you also fill this. You can go ahead and hold this. Then apply the link style to it, right? Apply the link style to it. Now, when you have gotten this, now the next thing is to calculate the values that are going for inventory, trade receivables, and trade payable. So what do we do in this case? what we do here is actually very simple. You can say, okay, your inventory in days divided by what? Divided by your days in a period. Divided by your days in a period, then you multiply that by what? You multiply that by the cost of sales, because inventory has to do with uh, cost of sales in vendors. So you just multiply by cost of sales, and you have this as your inventory value in days. Then you also, on the trade receivable part, because it has to do with revenue, we are going to say trade receivable in days divided by days in a period, multiply by what? Multiply by our revenue. So we have this. Then on the prepayment, we are going to apply that. Of course, you already guess and you know where we are going to apply that. So you're going to say your prepayment days in a period divided by what? Divided by days in a period, prepayment days divided by days in a period, what, and multiply it by what? SG&A. Right, when you do that, we have this. So the next thing you're going to do is just sum this up, press your enter, then you fill it to the what? You fill it to the right. So this is the value we have for our current total current asset. And this is the value for our total current asset. And the next thing we are going to also do, we are going to start calculating our trade payables. Right, our trade payables is the same thing we did. Trade payable in days, trade payable in days divided by what? Divided by our days in a period. Then you multiply it by what? You're multiplying by our cost of sales. And we're multiplying that by our cost of sales. We have this. Then these accruals, we are going to say our accrual days in a period, accrual days must divided by what? Divided by our days in a period. Then multiply that by what? By our SG&A. Then we have this value. Then you can sum this, enter, then you just fill this in. Now, after we have gotten this, remember that while we are calculating both, we're calculating the current asset and the current liability is to get our working capital. The simple definition of working capital is current asset minus current liability will give you a working capital. So when you do that, you can just come here and say current asset. What is our current asset? Current asset is this minus what? Our current liability, and we have this. Okay, so we have now gotten our current working capital, right? This is now calculation of our working capital. Now, these changes in working capital, usually it is not supposed to be here, but because I'm dealing with calculations, when I see things like this, I just want to do it here, so that when I get to where I will use that value, I will just link it, right? So that's what I do. So our changes in working capital is going to be equals to, is going to be equal to our current minus previous, sorry, is going to be our previous working capital minus what? Our current working capital. So this is the change we have, because we don't have any base value here. We have this. So once you get this, you just fill this in. So this is now our current working capital, right? This is our current, sorry, this is our changes in working capital, right? While this is our working capital. So you have to be very, very careful when you are doing this, because each of these have different way of application, or different places where we can apply, where we apply them, right? So when we do that, we have now calculated what? We have calculated or determined our what? Our cost of sales, sorry, our working capital. The working capital is just the total current asset minus the total current liabilities. That is how to determine our working capital. So in this section, what we are able to do right now, what we are able to do is to, we first of all calculated what? We calculated our cost, operational cost, starting with the what? Starting with the salaries for our personnel salary, right? We already know the assumptions we build on the annual, on the monthly salary for our staffs, and we have what? We have the salary for the annual salary. We are able to calculate the annual salary here, and also the operations. Under the operations, we have all this. We calculated our annual operational cost, which we started by linking the assumption we made in our previous section. Linking the assumption we made, we use it to determine, of course, this cost. and taking into consideration the economic condition. This is very, very important. I don't know why I keep emphasizing on this, because this is the determinant of your model, because you don't know what is going to happen in the future. You are just trying to make sure that your model is realistic, is following the economic condition, so that when those things will start happening in the future, it won't be a new thing to you, because of what you have already taken care of them initially, right? Initially you have taken care of them. That is why it is important to always consider your economic condition. So I'll come right here right now and just apply what I will just apply our calculation style, then these two calculation style. So what I did here, because this is the last formatting I applied, just press F4 and select this. I press F4 and it gives me this result. So that is it. Now we have this. If we come back in the next section, let me see if we have time. If we don't have time, I don't want the video to be too long. If you come back in the next section, okay, we are going to continue from where we stopped, and we're going to be starting from what? From our funding side. We're going to be calculating, seeing how we're going to develop our funding style model, right? So see you in the next class. But again, before I go, if you have not subscribed and you are already seeing the values this channel is dishing out, please subscribe, because this channel needs to grow, and you are the right person to make this channel reach to it, to reach to where it's heading to, right? Alright, so please and please subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment. Like I said, if you need this file, just comment I need the file on the comment section, and I will get the file across to you. I will tell you how to get the file. Right? But if this to put the link on the video description again so that anybody can download, I have stopped doing that, and I told you why. If you want to know why, go and watch the previous video and you will know why. Okay, so please and please like and subscribe to this channel, and thank you very much. See you in the next class.